Hello you exquisite Destiny players. A bit of a different one this week, I thought. Rather than going over the means to an end mission in its entirety, because almost everybody knows how this works now, I'm just going to pick out the highlights of it. So we'll go over how to get the Umbral Traces this week, and then we'll have a little look at this week's reset information, what stuff has popped up in the director, and we'll also have a humorous look at the Eververse store as well. So for the first part, as always, we're actually on IO this time. Not as always, it was Titan last week. We're on IO this time, and the main boss for the contact event is the Taken Monstrosity, with the wizards floating by, casting healing spells on him. So kill them before you kill him. Or well, you don't have to if you don't want to, but it makes it easier. Now then, let's move on to the Umbral Traces, onto the second part of it. So our choices this week are either Gambit Prime, Gambit, The Reckoning, or Escalation Protocol. Do not do Escalation Protocol, it'll take you forever because you're not doing it as a fire team, you're doing it on your own, and for some reason the Umbrals just seem to drop from a boss. My recommendation for you is either Gambit Prime or The Reckoning, because you get loads more Umbral Traces in doing that, because remember, you get more traces when you kill bigger bosses. So just by landing a few blows on some of the bigger bosses, you get a lot of yellow bars in, for example, in Gambit Prime, and also in The Reckoning, particularly Tier 3. Normal Gambit, I did have a go at it to see how long it took, and I did one complete match, which is the 3-round thing. And I only ended up with like 15%. That's rubbish, so don't bother doing that. Then I did 2 Gambit matches, and Gambit Prime, rather, and I completed that particular quest step. So that's my recommendation for you. Don't bother with Gambit, go for The Reckoning or Gambit Prime. Then, of course, back to IO to do the Interferance mission. Here we are at the end with old Eris. If you want to listen to her little bit of lore this week, here we go.
This message isn't directed at us. One translation might be petulant. The equivalent of a condescending wave of its hand or a wagged finger, like a parent rebukes a stubborn child. I think this might be meant for Savathun.
Don't forget to continue reading the lore entries. It's really, really interesting stuff and setting us up for, well, I know it's a bit of a wait, I'm afraid, but still, it's setting us up for the next season and Beyond Light. Right then, let's go and have a look at the director and see what's happening with the reset this week. So the first thing we'll have a little look at, of course, is where we can get our pinnacle gear. Let's go into the Vanguard playlist. So if we go into the Vanguard Strike playlist, have a quick look there. We have the burns we have available this week. You've got Void Singe, you've got Iron, enemies have more health, and also we've got heavyweight power weapons deal more damage and more ammo is available. Handy to consider tying some of these things into your Solstice stuff that you might need completing. Okay, we're going to go into the Nightfall, the Ordeal, and this week it's the Festering Core. Ooh, I quite like that strike. Loads of people hate it, but there you go. Now let's have a little look at the Grandmaster doodads that we have this week, just to make you sweat. So the first thing you've got is Epitaph. Taken combatants generate blight geezers when defeated. They go blimey Gavner, and I'll smack you in the mouth because they're blight geezers. And then you've got Unstoppable Champions, of course, and we have Overload Champions as well. We've got the usual chaff, so your radar is bust. You have the Grandmaster modifiers, that's the same each week, and we've also got the Extinguish, so if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, everyone goes back to orbit. What a lovely holiday. And just to top that off, we have limited revives, and finally we've got Bowrisk's Breach. Void damage increased, knockback damage and distance increased, so it's time for you to go flying all the way backwards to your death. How incredibly annoying. Let's go and have a look at the Nightfalls we have this week. So we've got Exodus Crash. Now the unique reward for that this week is the Impact Velocity Sparrow. There she is, isn't she pretty? The other choices we have, I'd like to thank one of my lovely sausage community for pointing out that I didn't do this the last time we did our rundown. We've got Savathun's Song. Now the unique reward for that is the Duty Bound Auto Rifle. And finally we have the Warden of Nothing strike. And for that you get the Warden's Law Hand Cannon. Lovely jubbly, yes. I've already done my Gambit malarkey this week, which is why I haven't got the the glowy things on it. But if you want to do your Gambit, don't forget that's the going to be your pinnacle rewards. Now, for the Reckoning this week, the boss is the Swords. So for that, you can have the Night Watch Scout, the Lonesome Sidearm, the Last Man Standing Shotty, and the Soul Survival Sniper Rifle. But there's also the Just In Case Sword from the level 3 Sword Bearing Gits. So don't forget about that if you need to do that. Let's go and have a look on the moon and see what we've got this week in regard to our nightmare hunts. So we've got the Despair Hunt, which is Crota, and we've got the Fear Hunt, which is Fogoth, my favourite. I like shooting massive ogres, they're marvellous. And finally, we've also got Raid, which is Dominus Gold. Not too keen on that one. I don't know why, I'm just not. Let's have a look at the old Strike, the Garden Salvation, and the weekly modifier for that is a link in the chain, if that's something you're looking to do. And of course, you can get Pinnacle by doing the Pit of Heresy, and if you're on your magnificent step of your Solstice armor, then of course that'll come in very important for you too, to get your white glow, which doesn't glow that much by all accounts. Anyway, going into the Crucible, and for your general rotators, your general rotator matches this week, we've got Lockdown, that'll get you powerful gear, and also you've got Clash. And then for the standard Pinnacle gear, to complete 4 matches, neither Rumble, Control, or Elimination. So there we go, that's what we've got for our Crucible malarkey. Quick squiz over to Mars, and we can see the Escalation Protocol boss this week is Box Litter, or something like that his name is, Kitty Litter, or whatever. Well, anyway, whatever the litter person is, once you've emptied your bowels on him, you can get any of the Escalation Protocol weapons. That's right, any of them can drop from the boss this week. We're going to have a look at the raid layers as well, and if we'll just have a look at the prestige raid layers this week, I'll tell you the modifiers. We have your Gladiator, which is melee kills buff weapon damage, and weapon kills buff melee damage. That's quite sweet. And then you've got the Arms Master one, so in this week's you have to have a shotgun in your kinetic, an auto rifle in your energy slot, and a rocket launcher in your power. And if you're looking to do menagerie runs, and then let's face it, the Menagerie can give you the runs. The Heroic here, modifiers this week, we have Extinguish, Bum, Restricted Zone, Back to School Kids, Iron, enemies have more health, yes. We've also got Blackout, blech, I hate those. And we've got Void Singe as well. This week's Flashpoint also is on Nessus, with old Wasser Chops Wasser Face. What's she called? Failsafe! That's right, the lunatic with 2 personalities. She's great. Right, let's go and have a look in the store and see what we have in store. What's it saying here? Come on, PlayStation 4, hurry up. Oh, look, I get a decrypted engram. Do you want to watch me do it? It's a new mnemonic. We're going to have a... Oh my god, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, sorry, I got myself back together now, so for my Fighting Lion, I've actually got the Jade Countenance. Let's have a look. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it looks like New Zealand green stone. It's lovely. I think that's lovely. Yes. Sorry, I'm happy about that. Right, let's go back to the shop. And let's have a look at what else we got in store. My Bright Dust hasn't gone up much this week because Bright Dust isn't dropping from the bounties at the moment, which is a bit of a bum. Well, of course, we've got the Solstice armor stuff here, which I've done loads of videos on, so we're not going to go into that. Let's have a look at the Bright Dust stuff. So we've got the Tangerine Gloss. Let's have a look at that fellow. Is it nice? I think it's actually very nice. I look like an opulent tangerine. Ooh, it's very pretty. I actually quite like that. We've got the Silly Handshake. Let's have a look at that. Look, I'm schizophrenic. I'm doing it with myself. Go on, do it then. It's not that silly, is it? Let's be honest. It's quite short. On Gilt Wings. That's a nice looking sparrow. Well, it's got nice cracks in it, I suppose, but... it's not as nice as I thought it was going to be. I shan't bother, thanks. We've got the backspin shell, which is a little 80s visor on top of our ghost, which I actually quite like, and I particularly like the way they made the Destiny logo look a little bit like a tennis ball. Isn't that quite cool? Yes, that's pretty good. And then, of course, you've got all your buffy things down here, your boons. Let's go and have a look at the main brightest malarkey and see what we've got here. We've got, I love that shaded shell. Look at that. That's quite funny. It's just like one lens with the sunglasses. And I also love the texture on it. Look, that's great. Sorry, I like that. That's quite cool. Okay, then we got the breathe in, which is basically the emote that you do when you meditate at the statue. No. Let's have a look at this. I love this one. I can afford it. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, though. Oh, I'm going to have to think about it. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it, because I got glows to think about as well, and I don't know. But look at it. That's brilliant. I don't know. We've got the Orcasong shell, which is just like a flat ghost, really. It's like a ghost that was a banana that got sat on by a cabal. Oh no, we've got the Tangled Outrider, which is for my favourite Trinity Ghoul bow. I'm glad I don't like it. And then we've got the Ultraviolet. This is for the Borealis. I never really use the Borealis. That's very nice, though, isn't it? That's very pretty. But I don't use it, so it's a bit pointless. And the Buried Treasure icon. We've also got Warsat Arrival, Nightmare Emergence, and Shocking Entrance. What's that one? That's quite nice. Shan't bother. And that is it for the store for this week. And if you enjoyed the video, a like really helps me out, a comment really helps me out, and a subscribe would be great if you wanted to know when more videos have dropped from the Time Sausages Trouser of Time. Right then, I'm off now to do something else. I don't know what. I might have a bag of crisps.